everybody, welcome back to the She Shed. Today's tutorial is going to be on this beautiful V-stitch shawl. It's hard to get it all into this shot, but it is very lightweight, very lacy and incredibly drapey and super soft against your skin. I wish there was feel-o-vision because it just feels absolutely lovely. Now the picture at the start of the video made this out to be brown, but can you actually tell that there's two colors in this? Now the yarn I am using there's a lot of selection. Is this yarn called faux. I got it at Spotlight, and as you can see it comes in a variety of different colors. Now the colors that I used in this here are these two, and they've come out, when you look up close, yes, you can see the two colors blended in there. But it was interesting that they actually came out looking brown on the photo. The reason why I used the two colors together, look how fine weight that is. That is super fine. And I actually can't work with it. I find it quite difficult. And I thought it might be nice to blend two of them together. It does say it is a 4.5mm hook. I found that quite difficult still to work with that. So I decided let's join two balls together and let's mix it up a bit. Let's do two different colors. Now my dilemma I have at the moment is what two will I do next for this tutorial? There is so much to choose from. Shall I do a whitey colour with a blue, the two dark blues, a grey with a brown, pink, the grey. Oh, actually that's quite nice. It's more of a red, I should say, or a red and white, or a dilemmas. I wish you could all scream out to me and tell me which one to do. I think I might go those two. I hope you all agree with me. Okay, let's get this project started. This yarn is a polyester acrylic yarn. It has a very fluffy sheen to it, and that's what gives that really lovely look to this, and it's just so soft. So combining the two together, I needed 5 of each color to make this. So if you were doing this singularly and you found a nice lightweight wool that you yarn that you wanted to use and you wanted to do it singularly, it is a 30-gram ball. It is 164 meters. Now I always go by meterage, so having 164 meters, I did 5 balls, so therefore you could do something equivalent. Just make sure you get your hook to match up with the yarn that you are using. But I do suggest that you use a yarn that has a really lovely drape on it and it'll have that gorgeous look when you're wearing it. The hook that I am using, because I'm combining these two together, I will be using this 7mm hook. If you've watched my crochet video, you will have seen that I just got this hook in and I am in love with this hook. I've already made a garment with it. I love this hook. Watch the video and you'll see how much I really liked unpacking this hook. I've loved this hook so much, I actually bought 3 other different sizes in different colors, and I have tried several of the hooks now and they are all very nice. So the brand is Divot Schlup. I think that's how you say it. Sorry if I got it wrong, but I'll put the name below. And I got mine at Amazon. Okay, so we are going to be chaining 200. So after you have chained 200 stitches, now it needs to be a multiple of 3. So I have got 198 plus 2, and so my plus 2 will be the start of my first chain to get to my first stitch. I hope that makes sense. You can do the length of your chain and therefore the length of your shawl. So the length of your chain is the length of your shawl, however long you would like. I have done this to be quite a long shawl. This is a 7mm hook. Therefore, if you are using a smaller hook, you will need to make a longer chain. Bigger hook can be a smaller chain. So just wrap the chain around yourself to how it fits comfortably for you. I put the chain so that it wraps around 1.5 times, so that when the shawl crosses over, it has a lot of cross over it, and therefore you can put a pin in, or if you wanted to sew a button on, you can. So for me, for this yarn, if you're following along with me, it is 200 stitches for your chain, 198 for the chain that you're going to be working in, and the last 2 will make the first chain stitch before you start working, and I hope that makes sense. So we are going to do the first row as half double crochet. So yarn over, and we are going to be working in the back of the stitch. So this is the front of the stitch, the V. The back of the stitch is the bumpy part. Now this is quite a soft, lacy kind of yarn I am using, so it can be quite difficult to find the lump on the back. So yarn over, missing your first 2 stitches from the hook and go into your third. Go into the back of the hook, into the loop, yarn over, pull your yarn through, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through the 3. Make sure when you are doing this you have got both your strands taut and tight. You don't want to accidentally bring one through or have it loose and loopy and come up like so, and therefore they're not going to be tight together, and you're going to have a funny looking look and bits of yarn hanging out all over the place. So yarn over, through the loop on the back of the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the 3, yarn over into the loopy part in the back of the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the 3. Okay, so I'm going to leave you to do that, and I will meet you back here when you have finished your first row. At the end of your first row, you should have 198 stitches. For row number 2, chain 2, turn, and in the first stitch here you will be putting a double crochet. You will be skipping the next 2 stitches. In the third stitch, double crochet. chain 1, going into the same stitch, another double crochet, miss 2 stitches, in the next stitch a double crochet, chain 1, in the same stitch a double crochet, miss the next 2 stitches, the third stitch, double crochet, chain 1, same stitch, another double crochet. And as you can see, this is now making your V-stitch, and this is the V-stitch we'll be using throughout the entire shawl. So repeat this same pattern across for this row. So missing the next 2 stitches, double crochet in the third stitch, chain 1, double crochet again in that same stitch. So keep repeating this, and I will meet you back here at the end of this row. At the end of your second row, skip 2 stitches into your last stitch, double crochet, chain 1, and your second double crochet to make the last V stitch of the row. There we go. For the third row, chain 3, turn your work, and this first stitch here is your last V stitch of the last row, which is your first V stitch of this row. This row now, row 3 onwards, is the row you will be repeating throughout the whole of this shawl. So the chain that you just made is the first double crochet stitch for this V stitch, and then you are going to put a second double crochet in that stitch. So that makes your first V of this row. Then the next V, 1 double crochet, chain 1, second double crochet in that V stitch. Skip the hole there and you're going to the next V, 1 double crochet, chain 1, second double crochet in that V stitch. Skip that hole, go to the next V, 1 double crochet, chain 1, second double crochet in that V. Skip the hole, go into the V, 1 double crochet, chain 1, second double crochet in that V, and there we go. You will now see the V's are lining up on the V below, and that's the only place where you now put stitches. You put your V's in your V's and skip the hole between the 2 V's, and that is what you will be doing all the way up. I'm going to continue this row off camera, and I'll meet you back here at the end of this row. At the end of row 3, you should have 1 more V stitch to work into. So 1 double crochet, chain 1, second double crochet, and that will be the end of row 3. Row 4, chain 3, turn your work. Your first stitch is a V stitch, so your first chain, the chain that you did, makes your first part of your V, and then another double crochet into that V, and there's your V. And then you just continue on in every single V the way you did in the previous row, and this is what you are going to be repeating for the rest of your shawl. Now to make this shawl, I did 47 rows, and I found that was nice and wide enough, as you can see in the pictures, nice and wide enough to go around the shoulders and have the clip on it. You can make it longer if you like, you can make it shorter, you could even make it only a few rows to have it as a scarf. It is up to you how you would like to do it, but if you are following along with me, I did mine for 47 rows. So I will obviously work my 47 rows off camera, and I will meet you back here after the 47th row. Finished my 47th row, and I must admit I absolutely love these two colours being together. Looks so beautiful. Oh, feel-o-vision. I wish there was feel-o-vision. It's beautiful. So last row we are going to do a half double crochet. So chain 1, turn, there's a lot of it, and because you started off with 98 stitches, hopefully you'll be finishing off with 98 stitches. And the way we do this is half double crochet. Where it's a V, do 2 stitches, 1, 2, and where it is not a V, do 1. Where it's a V, 2, where it is not a V, 1. And that will give you the same end as you started off with. So continue along, 1, 2 in a V, could be a little tricky, and 1 in the non-V, 2 in the V, and 1 in the non-V. Alrighty, puppy wants to come into the she shed, so I am going to let her in and finish this off camera, and I'll meet you back at the end. And this is what it should look like once you've finished that row. Cut the tail. Pull through and then sew off your end, and obviously this is the chance also, if you haven't already done so, to sew off any of your ends. I found it easier to sew off my ends while I was working so I don't miss any. Sometimes, especially with this lightweight yarn, it is often hard to find. So I just find it easier just to do it as you go. And there we are, a beautiful soft shawl with a photo just there of it finished, and pairing it up with one of my handmade pins, which you can also have on a scarf or wear in your hair. You can have it with the metal or with something like this where it's got bigger holes. The wood one is probably better. I will leave a link below to these. I hope you have enjoyed making this beautiful shawl, so super soft. If you have, I'd love to see photos of it, so put a photo up on my Instagram page, lucky_platypus1, and I'd love to see what you made. Until next tutorial, have a fantastic day everybody, and I'll see you next time.